It's time for It Can Only Be the Luke Howard Show live. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm here all day. Thank you. I'm here till 5 this afternoon. I'm joking. Thank you very much. Well, a very, very, very good morning to everyone out there who's joined us on this fine, glorious, sunny Friday morning. It's Friday the 22nd of May, and we're getting you all ready for the weekend as usually on a Friday. But of course, I can't really say we're getting you ready for the weekend because it's not Saturday for me, because my weekend is a Sunday and the rest of Saturday. So I can't actually say that we're all getting ready for the weekend just yet. But for the ones who are not listening tomorrow, we are getting you ready for the weekend. That's only if you are not listening tomorrow. If you are listening tomorrow, it's our Saturday show tomorrow. Love to hear from you tomorrow as well. So we'll be here tomorrow from 10ish, and like every day, apart from Sundays, we're not on Sundays. I have a bit of a relaxation day that day. I have a duvet day, so we don't have it on a Sunday. So, love to hear from you on the show today. 07593847105 is the number to text or call. If you're texting, start with the word talk and your name. Or you can phone us, it's 07593847105. Or email Gary J. Howard68@hotmail.com. Or you can do 345 457 @student.hrc.ac.uk. Or you can find us on Instagram at the Luke Howard fan page, or you can use the hashtags #Luke Howard or #Luke Howard Show or #Stay at Home and listen to the Luke Howard Show. Right, okay, so we're going to kick off the show today with our normal paper reviews. But first of all, I just want to say, if you've got a birthday today, happy birthday to you. I hope your birthday's going very, very well if it's your birthday today, but only if it is your birthday. If it is, have a wonderful day, and of course, there's not really much you can do, but just stay at home and stay safe and celebrate from home, of course, on your own. That's if you have got a birthday today. Right, okay, so suitcase torso cops raid a battery house. So police are arrested with suspects allegedly trying to dispose of a body stuffed inside 2 suitcases later discovered at a bloodbath in a house. So the grisly scene was said to resemble an ablator. Officers believe a circular saw was used to cut up the female victim, and that have been revealed. They drove 80 miles to the Forest of Dean, where they do remain now, and it was also found in the cases. So cops have swapped after 2 people were said to be driving suspiciously around near Colford in Gloucestershire, and the Sun newspaper has understood that attempts had also been made to burn the body. A woman in her 20s from Birmingham and a man in his 50s from Wolverhampton were arrested on last Tuesday night. Officers have later raided a house in Birmingham and discovered the murder scene. A source close to the investigation and said that officers were horrible to find the place looking like a blater, and found a circular and saw it was a bloodbath. Detectives have been making door-to-door inquiries near the address, and a second property in the Midlands were also searched on Thursday. Cops were given an extra 36 hours to continue questioning the 2 suspects. Now, the other night, they said that Jessica Contney Gordon, 27, at Birmingham, had been charged with the murder, and Miss Safina, 38, of Wolverhampton, has been charged with assaulting an offender. So both have been refused bail and are due to face Cheltenham magistrates via video link on Saturday last week. That was, and they did do it, and it all went okay, apparently, as far as we are concerned. Right, let's talk about Richard Branson now on the show, shall we? Because that's what I want to talk about. Now, Sir James Dyson has been named the richest person in Britain for the first time. So, the other long-standing billionaires, including Sir Richard Branson. Well, he fell down the list. So Brexit backing inventor Sir James 73 saw the wealth increase for $3 billion over the past year to 16,000.2 billion, according to the Sunday Times. And but the coronavirus crisis has hit others' hand, including Sir Richard, which is 69 years old, whose companies include the freight giant Virgin Atlantic. As a result of lockdown, the fortune fell by 42.5 million to 3.6 billion. Now, back in February this year, it was expected that the number of billionaires in the list would now rise to 160. But it actually fell by 4 to 147, and was COVID-19. It took hold and half the billions, and it suffered loses totaling 29 billion. They include John Radcliffe, 67, chairman of the Inus Chemicals Group, whose personal fortune fell by 6 million to 12.15 billion, and Chelsea FC owner and businessman Roman Abramovich expensed a 1.007 billion drop in 10.16 billion, and he's still negative Lakshav mental, and he's finally down by 3.89 billion from 10.67 billion. In just 2 months, though, the pandemic wiped £54 billion off the total owned by 1,000 richest people and their families. And resident in the UK, it is the first ever time that this has actually happened since the financial crash of 2008 and 2009, the year heavy industry, aviation and retail were hardest, and his losers included EasyJet founder Sturgis Haji Lorani, who saw his wealth drop to 538 million, would you believe, to 1.754 billion, and the enterprise behind Jet2 Holidays, and Philip Merson, who suffered a shares drop by 700 million, and his fortune now stands to 342 million quid. List compiler Robert Wade said that it paints a picture of Britain on the brink of trigonometry just 2 months into the pandemic. You may not like the super rich by your economy and will need the jobs to create and the taxes that they and their companies pay if we are to escape a privileged decision. Now, top 10, James Dyson, 16.2 billion, Shirley and Gopu Energy, 16 billion, David and Simon Rubin, 16 billion, and Leonard Blairmark, 15.78 billion, and Jim Radcliffe, 12.15 billion, and Christine and Tom Reston, 12 billion, and there are many, many, many more people who are on there as well. And so a victory in sight now for a grand charity walk. Now I want to talk about this because a grandmother aged 97, would you believe, will this week she'll complete a 30-day marathon walk for Help the Heroes charity. Now, Lily Barnett, who has, to use a walking frame, who inspired by NHS fundraiser Captain Tom Moore, or I should be saying Colonel Tom Moore now, to do the 7.82 mile trek despite suffering multiple illnesses, and including Parkinson's and a stroke. Now, Lily, obviously from Solent in Hampshire, has gone up and down the 11 4-foot corridor of her flat 6 times a day, cheered on by neighbours, and she had an initial target of £500 that has so far raised £2,750,000, which is very, very long, would you believe? So Lily, whose late husband and brothers fought to the Second World War, said that I'm passionate about the military because they do so much for us to do and for the NHS. Okay, so there you go. So that's an absolutely amazing. So two teenagers are in police custody, by the way, after a young man was found stabbed to death after a reported shrill brawl. Francis Caballon, 19, was found with stab wounds in Southwark, South London on Wednesday, and was pronounced dead at the scene. The Metropolitan Police and 3 males aged between 15 and 20 and an 18-year-old woman were arrested near the scene under suspicion of murder. 2 of the males aged 15 and 17 remain in police custody, and the 2 others have been released on bail. The youngster played football for the non-league Harlow Town. A spokesman has said that the club was a heartbreaking was heartbreaking, basically. And so a woman has also been charged with the murder of I don't even want to keep talking about this. So 90 migrants. Let's talk about 90 migrants were held the other day, and they had been tried to reach the UK in 6 separate boats. So the migrants said that they were Syrian, Amiran, and secondly Iraqi and Yurmi and Alijan and Kurdi. There were also a number of women on the boats that were intercepted by Border Force. All were taken to Dover, and all individuals were brought to Dover and were tested for medical problems. At least 1,413 migrants have made it to the UK since January, and they close to the 1,850 who arrived throughout the whole of 2019. A Home Office spokesman said that Border Force is dealing with a number of small boat incidents off Kent, would you believe? And there you go. So wow, absolutely amazing. Right, okay, so museums now. And every music drifting through the galleries, mysterious glowing orbs and a sudden chill when you pass the Egyptian mummies. Now, they are just some of the spooky experiences reported by staff guarding the British Museum at night. So artist North Angel has spent 4 years taking to 50 employees at the London attraction, which homes more than 1 billion ancient artificials, and the ghostly tales has uncovered enough to make you turn as pale as the Eglin marbles. Now, staff report doors swinging open for no reason, for fire alarms exploringly going off to midnight, while orbs have been spotted on CCTV footage of this staircase at the Great Court. Tourists have reported seeing the ghost of a female dwarf in the reflection of a glass case holding a 16th century mechanical gallery. And guard Phil Hurley, who worked there for 29 years, said that he would dread entertaining an ancient Egyptian gallery. It was like walking into a freezer, though, he said. My stomach turned over. The feel of the gallery was like you wanted to get out. He said, I'm a great believer that wherever you're buried, you should stay there now. A lot of mummies have, they should be back in their graves, apparently they've been saying. So, So, historic coronavirus against Gerry Adams now is attempting to escape from prison after being introduced in the 1970s. He's been overturned by a Supreme Court after it ruled in its detention was unrevealed, and the former Sinn Féin leader, 71, tried to break out of a Northern Ireland's Maze jail on Christmas Eve 1973, and again in July 1974. He was later sentenced to 4.5 years. Lawyers of Mr. Adams claimed that his detention was unlawful because the interim custody order used to detain him and was not personally authorised by the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland at the time. And while Waffler was announcing the Supreme Court's judgment, Lord Kerr, and said that the court had immutably allowed Mr. Adams' appeal and has questioned the convictions, and he said that the power is to make such an order was a mysterious one, and this was described as a power to detain without trial and potential for a limitless period. He added such as a crucial decision should be made by the Secretary of State. Now, radiation from atomic bomb tests have also been carried out and thousands of miles away in the US during the Cold War and led to increased rainfall in the UK. A study has found a team from the universities of Reading, Bath and Bristol looked at records between 1962 and 64 from weather stations in London and Scotland. They found clouds that were visibly thicker, and there was a 24% more rain on advantage to physical review that letters have reported. Now, to be honest with you, there has been a lot of lovely weather. It's been very, very hot at this very, very moment. So if I was you, stay indoors or just go out if you need to at this moment. And so one more story now, I should think. One more story, or two stories. Let's talk about two stories, because one of them's about animals. And English sea turtles create decoy nests to protect their buried eggs. And predictive scientists has thought that female leatherback and Herschel turtles spent time scattering and sand in a rare area around the site where they had laid eggs, as it would camouflage the nest. But a 7-year study in Trinidad and Taboo revealed that they are building fake sites to load research from their true nest. Professor Malcolm Kennedy of the University of Glasgow has said that this may explain why, despite the extra risks, and female turtles have to stay on the bench away from the safety of the sea, working to a measure of the safety of their eggs. And I love turtles. They are amazing creatures, absolutely amazing. They just sit there and they do it all, and it's absolutely incredible. So good luck to them turtles. Well done. Right, one more story. A benefits chair who pocketed Errol Sands by claiming his was a wheelchair. Ban was caught competing in the cycle races and teaching exercise classes. Now, Stephen Oxensing said that he needed round-the-clock care and could only walk with